Hey everyone, it's Alan Brochstein, and well, like last week when I made a microphone error, this is my second time today. I made the microphone error again. Note to self: remember to change my recording source to microphone instead of laptop. All right, so the reason I do these is to share my ideas and thoughts with people who care what I think. If you really care what I think, the purpose of this is to get anybody that would benefit from being a subscriber of 420 Investor, which I started in 2013. So I'm coming up on 10 years in about 6 months. And that's not true. In about a year, a little bit over a year. I started in August of 2013. So we're about 9 years is what we are now. So as a reminder, I talk a lot about 420 Investor, and this week, this is all stuff I share with my subscribers when it happens, but I do like to go over for some of them and for you on a weekly basis. But what I'm reading from right now is the weekly review that I published yesterday. I got back in the status of doing that last week. I didn't share that publicly, but now I'm sharing it publicly. If you're on my email list, I did send you a link to that. So this was an interesting week for the market. First of all, the big news, which really lifted stocks on Thursday, was that the Senate's going to vote on legalization soon. And that had a huge impact on Thursday. But when you really step back and look at it, we came in Monday after a strong week, the first week of July, and we were pummeled. And it was brutal. And then we spent the next 3 days, including Thursday, when that news came out, coming back to literally break even for the week. And then we were down yesterday. So we ended up losing 3.2% this week in the global cannabis stock index. And we are still up on the month by 2%. So that was the big news, the potential legalization, not happening, but they're going to vote. And the other news was that Michigan came out with their data. It was a good month in June, 26% higher sales than a year ago, and this is despite much lower prices. As more companies have started to produce cannabis goods, the price of flower has come down a lot. And this has been a steady stream, and despite that, we're seeing big price declines, and we're still seeing growth. And it was actually 0.5% higher than May, despite June having one less day, which is really like 4% on a per day basis. And then Illinois also came out with news. They had already released their adult use, and they put out their medical. It continues to decline a lot year over year, and it brought the growth rate down. Michigan was at 187 million. Illinois combined between growth, the adult use and medical was 155 million, and that was only 5% higher than a year ago. The good news, I think, is that they have a lot more dispensaries that are in the process of opening. So let me tell you now, before I go on, why am I wearing a mask? Is there COVID in my house? No. In my bike accident that I talked about last week, I lost my upper teeth. And if I show you that, it's going to distract you, I feel. And no, I'm not embarrassed. If you see me face to face, you can see my face. But for this, I'm going to keep my gap tooth out of it. All right. I published 5 things for my subscribers this week. One was for the 420 Investor newsletter, the August edition, which I'll publish at month end. And that has 3 articles. My second one was called Curaleaf is More Expensive Than MSO Peers. So what does that mean? Does that mean Curaleaf is going to go down? No, that's not what it means, although it might. It means that Curaleaf is going to go up less than peers, and that's what I explained. The other thing I put out that was written for them during the week was a preview of the Organogram and Valens conference calls, which I'll get to later. Then I also put out 3 things on Friday: the weekly review that I'm talking about now, the cannabis subsector review, which is a chart package looking at similar stocks by their category. So like ancillary is broken up into 3 categories. I've got the REITs, and I've got, or the financials, and I've got big ancillary and small. And then I've got MSOs times 4, big, medium, small, really small. And then I've got 2 sets of MSOs, is it 2 or 3 actually, and all by size. And then I've got CBD and I've got biotech. So a lot of subsectors, and I'm looking at the charts within them. This week I looked at the month-to-date returns. Usually those returns are all the same, right? Because all the geniuses I know say, oh, cannabis stocks, they all move the same. I'm here to tell you that that is bogus. No, it's not true. I just showed you on my returns how much I moved this week. Yes, some stocks were up a lot month to date and this week, and other stocks were down a lot this week and month to date. And I look for opportunities all the time. So then the final thing, and that subsector review will help capture it. The final thing is I run 3 model portfolios at 420 Investor, which I'll talk about. 2 of them are long-term and they're measured against the index, and they tend to be fully invested. There are cash limits on both of them. And so I put out a piece like I do every week talking about those model portfolios and how their composition compares to the index by looking at subsectors. So right now I can tell you my biggest overweight is in the MSOs. I'm a little under on the ancillary, but a little over on ancillary less REIT. And then on the Canadians, on the Canadian LPs, I'm a little bit over. I have all my stocks in MSOs, ancillary, and Canadians. All right. So what was the news this week for the 29 stocks that I cover? Here it all is. And again, this is all shared as it comes out, but I also like to put it in writing for people that don't necessarily have time to read all my messages, and so that they get a complete update. So Air, they launched their adult use sales in their 2nd store in Massachusetts. And I think that they're one of the few MSOs or providers in this area. Cresco shareholders approved a repurchase plan for all the super voting shares. And I asked management there about, why do y'all still have these super voting shares? They're not important anymore and they bother people. And I said, don't worry. They said, don't worry, we'll take care of it soon. So this is the path to take care of it. I think it's involved with uplisting as well, which I don't know when that's going to happen. Curaleaf, they launched Craft Farmers in California. That is with a partner, and it's to encourage legacy growers and to get diversification in the supplier base. Cresco is beginning to sell hemp CBD products to a benefits manager. Fire and Flower started adult use delivery in British Columbia. GTI extended its debt by a year from 2024 to April 2025, 1 year. That's 2 years and 9 months from now, which is a long time in cannabis. Harborside's going to change their name, as they said that they would, to State House, and they also are not going to split their stock right now. It was going to be a 6-to-1 reverse split. Organogram, great quarter, and I've been catching some heat on this because of the way the stock reacted. I said it was a great quarter, and then it went down a little bit. But I urge you to look at where it is now compared to where it's been. On a month-to-date basis, it's one of the best large Canadian LPs. So their sales were a record $38.1 million. They had slightly positive adjusted EBITDA, and the sales were ahead of expectations, and the adjusted EBITDA a little bit below. It was up a lot from a year ago, and they have number 3 market share, they say. All right, the next one is Planet 13, who said that they're going to get a Consumption Lounge in Las Vegas, and they're filling out an application for that. The next one is Trulieve, and they opened their 2 more stores in Florida. They are the leader there with about 27% of the stores. The market is growing, and Trulieve is growing too. Tilt Holdings has a project that will get them into New York State with an Indian tribe. They announced that Indian tribe, the Shinnecock Indian Nation, and they have started construction, and it will be opening in early 2023. And that's on Long Island, near the end of Long Island. Sorry, I forgot what it's called. I used to have a house there, not exactly where they're talking about, but at the end of Long Island. All right, so people in New York, you can laugh at me. Tilray finalized a $155 million investment into convertible notes at Hexo. I don't care for Tilray for a lot of reasons, but I think this thing could be good. We'll see. I think they're going to end up owning the company. The convertible note will give them less than half, but I think they're going to work out a way to get the company. I think that's a good thing. Why I don't like Tilray, I've explained to my clients at New Cannabis Ventures. They also launched a brand, Canica, in Calgary. So Village Farms is another Canadian LP, but their news was related to the U.S. They have a CBD subsidiary that they bought last year, and they said that Balanced Health Botanicals, which operates in the U.S., is on to something with CBD and CBG reducing temporary anxiety. It's a study that they're running. Valens was another LP that reported, and their sales of $24 million were a little bit below the expectations, and their adjusted EBITDA loss of $17.5 million was a little bit worse than expected. So I'm not too worried about the potential for Valens to do better, but a lot of people are. The stock is very near its all-time low. And then the last one I have is Verano. And Verano opened its 3rd West Virginia dispensary, and it also opened its 52nd Florida dispensary, and that's its 106th overall. So that's really it. Let's talk about the market. I already told you that the market was it's up 2% in July. It was down 3.4%, I think, well, I don't have that now, but so now the market's up 2%, which isn't so great, but my model portfolios are up a lot more. That was what the Global Cannabis Stock Index did. It's left it down 54.2%. So it's down almost 55%. And so last but not least, my model portfolios. I told you I'm doing well, and I just want to go through the numbers. Flying high, my trading model portfolio is up 18.4% during July. Now, before I brag too much, it's still down about 29.5% in 2022. So it's not great, but the index is down 54%. So it's doing much better than the index. And it's not measured against the index, it's measured against cash. And cash is doing better than 29% loss. So, excuse me, it gained 6% this week. How? Well, I had and sold a big position in Ascend, and Ascend rallied a lot from where I added to it at $2. I sold it yesterday as high as $2.65. And then I also have a big position in CEA, which I trimmed during the week. It's still a big position. Those two would explain most of the gain, I think, but there were other things that happened that were good as well. And then 420 Opportunity was up 0.5% during the week. That's much better than the market move of down more than 3%. And it's up 11.4% in July. And that's compared to a 2% gain in its index. And so that's, I've had that model portfolio since 2014, and it's a little bit below the funding price. It's 6% roughly below. So I've lost 6% since 2014. But This year, it's doing better than the index, which is down 54%. It's down, um, um I'm just looking, I'm sorry. Uh, uh, oh, yeah, it's doing better than the index. Oh, yeah, year to date. It's down 48.1% compared to 54.2. And then 420 quality is similar. It was up 1% instead of half a percent. It's up 11.2% instead of 11.4% for the month of July. That's compared to a 2% increase in the index. In year to date, that one is down 47.7% compared to the 54.2% loss. So this was the same time, 16 minutes. I'll catch you next week. By the way, if you want to subscribe to 420 Investor, you should, because we're about to get really bullish, I think. And that's a great time to have my help. I can help you avoid picking the losers and to more likely pick the winners. And it's just $600 a year. And the good news on that is if you join and pay your $600, but you decide within the first month that it's not for you, very few people decide that, but you'll get a full refund. So with that, you take it easy. Have a great week. Take care.